Liwi. Buenas noches, buenas tardes o lo que sea en tu franja horaria. O sea, aquí son las 7:30 de la tarde. Hoy, bueno, primero vamos a hacer una presentación como Dios manda. Estoy cenando, estoy comiendo una pizza. Son las 7:30 de la tarde, estoy cenando, evidentemente. Me voy a tomar una Pepsi 0 azúcar con lima. Como habéis podido escuchar, me estaba peleando con esta lata. Y vamos a jugar Stanley Parable. ¿Qué es este juego? Una locura que te vuelve loco. Bastante descriptivo, ¿no? Nah, es un poco paranoia. Se supone que todas tus acciones ya están programadas. Es decir, todo lo que vayas a hacer ya lo van a saber qué es lo que vas a hacer. Entonces, no sé si desarrollar un poco más esto yo mismo, porque no sé si lo he entendido del todo. Creo que sí. Pero, por si acaso, tengo aquí una cosita. Entonces, me estoy cenando una pixita, va a ser esto bastante gracioso. Tengo dos logros, que es el de haber mirado, o sea, el de haber activado los logros y el de haber vuelto, porque he entrado y he salido para ver que estaba todo bien. Creo que va a ser una locura. Lo he puesto bien en la resolución que se supone que tiene que ser. Vamos a darle. Fijaos en el detalle de la pantalla, ¿vale? O sea, por donde yo paso el cursor, me parece una puta rayada ahora mismo. Por donde yo paso el cursor es por las cosas que se seleccionan. Lo que sale en el ordenador es lo que yo estoy viendo aquí. Vale, saves activado, audio lo vamos a poner aquí. A ver, ¿comenzamos la partida? Yo creo que sí. Esto dura 1 hora y media. Creo, me han dicho que hay como 19 finales alternativos y puede ser loquísimo lo que salga de aquí. El tiempo es nunca, el tiempo es nunca, el tiempo es nunca, el tiempo es nunca y así sucesivamente. Cargando, ¿te imaginas que ahora me peta el ordenador? Hay un récord que es speed, o sea, hay un récord, hay un logro que es un speedrun que te tienes que pasar esto en 4 minutos.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Wow, qué movida, ¿no?
Stanley was happy.
Claro, Stanley era feliz.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Vale.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No
Hace
one
una
showed
hora
up
que
to give
no
him
hay nada.
instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Vale. Y caminó fuera de su oficina. ¿Y si no camino? Hostia, vamos rápido, ¿eh? Hola. Cuatro, dos, 8, 4, 2, 9. Ah, espera, que si hacemos clic hace acciones. Vale, vale. Vale. Dios, qué raro. Qué oficina más guapa, ¿no?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale, vamos a la sala de reuniones, que es donde tenemos que ir. Dios, qué cosa más rara, ¿no?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Un ordenador encendido. ¿Qué pone ahí? No, hombre, pero no lo apagues, cabrón. Ahí ponía algo importante. Buenas tardes a todos. ¿No? Hola.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Me da igual. Username access. ¿Qué pone aquí? Hagamos aquí... Que no hay nada para la historia, dice. Hay que apagar todos los ordenadores, ya verás. ¿Pero qué? I hate Mondays, odio los lunes. Vale, ya somos dos colegas. Ojo. Abriendo y cerrando puertas, son la hostia. Si pulsamos el shift corre. No. No corre si pulsamos shift. ¿Está en la sala de reuniones?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vamos por la derecha, chavales.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Pero...
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really
¡Hostia!
been worth the detour after all. Just
Ahora,
to
¿qué
spend
está
a few
pasando?
moments
No,
here in
me
this
estoy
immaculate,
flipando ahora
beautifully
mismo.
constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
¿Me podría agachar? C, X, Q.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Que sí, hombre, pero déjame que investigue un poco.
To get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Sí, claro. Esa misma. Ni de coña. Sí, hombre.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Years ago. Hostia. ¿Que por qué no me habían despedido hace años? Porque no sigo las órdenes. La posibilidad es que muramos. No, ¿verdad? Por ahí no es. No podemos saltar tampoco.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Really, I'm not. I
No.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it,
¿A
Stanley.
ella?
Your chance to redeem yourself. to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
¿Qué? ¿Pero qué cojo? ¿Pero ahora qué pasa? ¿Pero qué te pasa, pringao?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
¿Quieres que coja el teléfono, bro? Venga, vamos a ello. Marijuani.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
¿Qué?
I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
¿Qué?
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Sí, hombre.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
¿Que no me deja? ¿Que no me deja tomar ninguna decisión ahora mismo? Ahí, qué mal rollo me das, tío. ¿Lo has hecho tú?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
¿Voy a morir? Buenos días, empleado 407. Presione 3 en su teclado.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Presione Z.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now
¿Cómo lo
he's
sabía?
going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned
No voy a
to
pulsar el
work
siguiente
was
botón,
a
que me
reminder that
diga que
none of it
pulse.
would ever happen to him.
No voy a presionarlo, hermano. Tengo que pulsar la M en serio.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
¿Qué cojones? Presione T para pasar tiempo con los muchachos.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
O sea, me está relatando qué es lo que he hecho, ¿sabes?
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Vamos a contarle a los niños una historia.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his
Vamos,
head,
niños,
he
escuchad.
relived it again,
Escuchad la buena historia.
and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
No puedo salir, ¿eh? Presione 3 para decir a su esposa que la ama. Te amo, cariño.
But there is no
Hey.
answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Presione F para ir a dormir.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Vale. No lo hagamos. El reloj me está poniendo nervioso, tío. Hay que hacerlo, ¿no?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Por favor, presione 8 para cuestionar nada.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled.
Me estoy riendo con ese comentario.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time you'll see. Maybe this time.
Porque en tu mano la pizza parece mini pizza. Por favor, muera.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
What?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Está cambiado. Awaiting input. Input received. ¿Cómo? ¿Qué input te he puesto? Eso ha cambiado. No sé qué le he puesto yo ahí. Tenemos que llegar ahí de alguna manera.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale. Estamos por la de la izquierda. Vamos a seguir ahora lo que dice. Trucos para no ser despedido. Hablar menos. No querer las amenazas de trabajo de los compañeros. No alterar sin consultar la pizarra blanca del bueno, del manager, vamos, del jefe. Complete today. Chart, slide, search on slide. Sinergias. Broom closet. ¡Hostia!
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Sí, hombre, espérate. A ver si no es verdad que no hay nada. ¿Voy a morir aquí? Vaya, parece que no.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, por aquí no. Por aquí, hostia. Secretive room. No, vaya. Vamos a intentar coger cositas.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
2845.
845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code.
Me acaba de explotar la cabeza.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
¿Qué cojones? Estoy flipando ahora mismo, tú. Vamos para abajo. Dios. Vale, me he perdido. Ah, joder, menos mal. Supongo que habrá que darle a la tecla de abajo, ¿no? Ah, pues no. Con hacer clic. ¿Tú qué me está dando miedo el juego? O sea, lo estoy pasando hasta mal. He muerto ya una vez.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Vale.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door.
Hostia, la fábrica de... de control mental. Vamos para allá.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Hombre, que si la tenemos. A ver. Darme un segundo. Podría decir que me he cagado, pero no. Seguimos. Me han hecho una llamadita y era importante cogerlo. Lo que iba a decir justo también, en plan de voy a aprovechar ahora mismo este parón que he hecho. Voy a hacer el vídeo de Instagram y ya está. Me estoy rayando macísimo. Estamos aquí en The Stanley Parable. Nos están observando, chavales. Vamos a resolver este misterio. Dale ahí abajo, únete, hombre. Míralo, qué guapo. Todo esto para que entre más gente, ¿sabes? A ver, 1, 2, 3, 4. ¿Cómo hacerlo en 4 pasos? Le das ahí, así, haces aquí pegar. Ponemos aquí que ya estuvo hecho y ya estamos. Ole, lo ponemos aquí. A tu historia. Y perfecto. Continue. ¿Qué cojones? Encendamos las cámaras.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the
El 103 y el 100... Mierda.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Mira, y nosotros éramos el 247. El 105 está Firelit, El 104 está Firelit y el 601 también. A ver, ¿encontraremos alguno que más que este Firelit? ¿Por qué están despedidos esos? Eso es lo más interesante de todo. O sea, el 104 y el 601. ¿Por qué están...?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
¡Qué cosa más guapa, chaval! Visitando el Gran Hermano.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life.
Vamos a por el 104 y a por el 601. Acordaros bien de esos números. 104 y 601. Lo voy a escribir. 104, 601. Esos números que he puesto en el chat son de los que hay que acordarse. Joder.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content.
Mind control,
Working,
status offline.
eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Vale, si subimos por aquí. Sí. 4. Vale. 4 es que hay que darle 4 veces. No. No es que hay que darle 4 veces, vaya por Dios. Control, console disabled. Espérate. 1, 2, ¿y dónde está el 3? Vale, ese es el 3. Vale, vale, qué guapo, ¿no? 1, 2. Hostia, este es el 5. ¿Y el 3? Aquí. Me estoy rayando. ¿Por qué estoy haciendo esto? No lo sé. Me ha dicho el juego que lo haga en ningún momento, pero yo he visto números y he dicho voy a seguir la secuencia. 01420001. Encontraré el 0. Cero, 1, 4, 2. No ha servido para nada esto. Pero ¿y esos botones? Madre del amor hermoso. Vamos a hacer lo que nos ha dicho, que es desactivar esto. Tío, es que... Wow. Wow.
And when
System
at
power.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Vale. ¿Y qué pasa? ¿Hola?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Pero sí.
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers
Vale.
gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber,
El
he
104 y el
realized none of this
601.
mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Coño, pues decían que este juego te tardabas 30 minutos, como una hora y media en pasártelo. No tarda
No
nada.
longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Que no.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way,
Hostia
right
puta.
now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy, tío. Wow, completa el juego. Pues nada, completado. Nos hemos dejado cosas sin hacer, por supuesto, pero hemos completado el juego en media hora. Hostia, o sea que sí, que vale, esto te lo puedes pasar súper rápido entonces.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Ay, no se pueden poner inputs ahora, vaya por Dios.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting
No vamos a ir
room,
por ahí.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Es lo que quiero.
Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
Vamos a ir ahora por la
open door
primera
on
aquí a la
his left.
izquierda.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
No quiero ir para abajo, quiero seguir por aquí. Hostia, qué guapo. Vale, ahora no se puede. LOL, por eso se puede hacer en 9 mins. Es en 440, creo que es. Una cosa así, se
Yet
puede hacer
there was
súper
not a
rápido.
single person here either.
Vale.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he'd coming to a staircase, Stanley
Vamos
walked
hacia abajo.
upstairs to his boss's office.
No, vamos hacia abajo a la oficina del mal. ¿Qué es eso? Una luz. Solo una luz. Firehouse.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in
Claro.
such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Dios, todo lo que me estoy
And for that
planteando ahora
matter,
mismo.
these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
¿Cómo estoy en un bucle?
I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing
Vamos para abajo.
buttons.
Vamos para
I
atrás.
may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So,
Aunque
he
tampoco
imagined
puedo.
himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself
Estoy
soaring through
flotando.
space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun. And Stanley
Vaya,
marveled
vaya.
that
Aprovechar
it
por
still
favor y
wasn't
sacar
enough.
clips de estos porque estoy
How was
flipando.
he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was
Brain explosion,
describing itself
brain
being
explosion ahora
considered
mismo.
by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
O sea, veis que estoy todo el rato. Es un bucle, pero es que estoy todo el rato. No puedo parar.
Thinking about
Ahora
how
mismo.
it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and
Y se
wondered
preguntó
if
si
this
esta voz hablaba a
was
toda la
after
gente en
all
sus sueños. La verdad es que, por supuesto, esto no era un sueño. ¿Cómo podía serlo?
This was not a dream. How could it be?
How could it
Was
be?
Stanley simply deceiving himself?
Estaba engañándose a sí mismo, creyendo que si está dormido no debe tomar responsabilidad de sí mismo.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these
Right.
words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt,
¿Café?
that this was in fact
No hay
a
café.
dream. Did the voice not see him float
Salida,
and make the
no hay
magical
salida.
stars just a
Ordenador,
moment
no hay
ago?
ordenador.
How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
This was a
So
dream.
he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
Dios.
the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Estoy flipando.
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
What?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
¿Qué cojones?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man.
Me está flipando ahora mismo.
This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people
Me
look
está
like.
flipando
And in
esto,
that
loco.
moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
¿Lo habéis entendido? Yo no. Yo la verdad que no he entendido nada, tío. Mira, este es el final del juego.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing?
Sí, sí, nos vamos a echar unas risas todos. Ah, mira el del input. Input received. Tengo 2 inputs. ¿Y si quito este de aquí? ¿Tengo 3? No. ¿Eso es el solitario? ¿Hay alguien ahí jugando al solitario, en serio? Me deja esto rayadísimo, ¿no? Lo siguiente, ¿sabes? Porque ahora lo que quiero es
When
ir por...
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Te he dejado mi explicación en Telegram. A ver. Vamos a leer la explicación. Ah. Con lo que he leído, creo que sí. Como si ella fuese una versión de ti mismo. Puede ser.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm? No, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Porque todos sabemos que si voy por allí... A no ser que me tire y vaya por ahí. Venga.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but
No te
you
preocupes.
all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that
Ala.
convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help
Vamos
you,
por otro
to
lado.
show you something beautiful.
Quiero ir por otro lado, hermano.
Let me prove it.
Danger
Let me
everywhere.
prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Dame una oportunidad, me ha dicho. No te voy a dar ni nada. What the fuck?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Through the red door. Vale. ¿Vamos por la puerta roja? O vamos por la puerta azul. Roja, azul. Roja, azul. Roja. Vamos por la roja.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices.
Algún lugar que no
The two
está
of
aquí,
us always
corriendo y
trying to
corriendo y
get somewhere
corriendo,
that
solo
isn't
como tú
here.
haces ahora mismo.
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Mierda.
Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just
Me metí en
stopped.
otro bucle.
And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
No sé si quiero entrar, ¿eh? ¿Hola? ¡Qué guapo!
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Vale, andamos. ¿Qué coño?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
¡Ué! Mira, ¡ué! 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 ¿Son auroras boreales? No te creo. Pero mira qué maravilla visual es esto. Ah, qué salvapantalla más guapo. Mira ahí, la osa mayor, ahí al fondo. Ah, no. Wow. Se mueve la parte de atrás, ¿eh? No estoy moviendo nada ahora mismo, se mueve la parte de atrás. Wow. Wow. Flipping totally.
No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we?
Qué cosa más guapa, tú. Wow. 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 Estoy flipando. ¿Y esta maravilla? Pero ¿y esta maravilla? Vamos.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Ya estoy here. A ver, en algún momento tendremos que salir de aquí, hermano. ¿Nos tiramos por el borde? No podemos. Vamos a las escaleras. Hay que morir.
No. What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
Que no te voy a hacer caso.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Ah, que tengo que subir para morir. Pues nada.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Otra vez.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
¿Eso es un dibujo? Me encanta el narrador. Es que el narrador en verdad me está dando bastantes tips.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Vamos otra vez para allá. ¿Me tengo que matar? ¿Tengo que saltar otra vez? Saltamos, ¿eh? Pues...
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
Vale, ahora sí.
Going back?
You're going back, hermano. You're going back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Buah, se reinicia. No, mierda, creo que... Vale, ya sé lo que he hecho con reiniciarlo, ¿no? Que ahora ya nos va a salir el input.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Vamos para abajo.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Left. Pues ahora, hagámosle caso. Vamos por la derecha.
No, it's to the right. My mistake.
Me va a vacilar.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
Me está vacilando, hermano.
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Vale, pues por aquí.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding?
104 y
It's all rubbish
601.
now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense,
Es el
we'll just restart the
422.
game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
¿Cómo?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wow, ahora ya no hay ninguna abierta.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then, it's an adventure. Come Stanley, let's find the story.
Vale, por esa primera que veo ahí a la derecha no es. Seguro que es por ahí. ¿Sí?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over.
Me
and
voy
over
a
again. But
perder.
it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Pero...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
La puerta 420, ¿eh?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back
Ahora no hay
where we
puertas.
just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Me está explotando el cerebro, ahora no hay puertas.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Este bucle no me gusta.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Aquí sí. Qué chungo esto, qué chungo
Now
esto.
this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time.
Tío.
I have to restart.
The Stanley Parable Adventure Line. ¿Cómo?
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Fua, ahora puedo seguir por aquí, espérate. ¡Está jugando al solitario! Está jugando al fucking solitario.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
No quieres llegar a ningún lado.
Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Joder, que me acojono, cabrón. Te hablaron de la línea amarilla hace ya, cuando el maniquí... Os juro que la música me está reventando ahora mismo. Pero reventando completamente. Por favor. ¿Puedes parar la música? Departamento de la cuenta.
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully.
¿Un hecho tan importante para nosotros, para la historia?
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Vale, lo estamos intentando. Yo lo estoy intentando todo, ¿eh? Oh.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Me han vuelto a reiniciar. Un segundo que voy a poner a cargar el portátil porque si no se me va a apagar aquí esto. Ay. No me acuerdo de cuándo me hablaron de la línea amarilla. En plan de... Si me han hablado de ella, no lo recuerdo. Hostia, me está gustando mucho este juego, me está molando mucho. A ver. segundito. Un segundo que voy a hacer piña time. Y tú dirás, pero qué cabrón. Y yo te diré, bueno, es el piña time. Está permitido. Cagada. No he cerrado antes la ventana. Me llevan 1 hora y 10 escuchando a mis vecinos. Terrible. Dame un segundo. Vais a ver ahora que haya hecho piña time. Hostia. Vale, ahora ya ventana cerrada. Vuelta a lo que he dicho antes. No sé, cuando me han hablado de líneas no es que no haya prestado atención, es que no me acuerdo. Entonces vamos a seguir. La partida se encuentra en Pau. ¿Quién es Pau?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it
Pero
ever done
tío,
for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
estabas con el maniquí blanco, te hablaron de hacerte algo de comer, crees, se transformó todo en fichero, jaja, hace ya. Ah, buah, pero eso ha sido hace bastante, cariño. Eso ha sido al principio.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be
Nuevo
anything. What do
bucle.
you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Vamos a
Whatever
imaginarlo,
it might be,
usamos la
Stanley,
imaginación.
I'm ready for it.
Parece un backrooms.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Vale, si vamos a una habitación con monitores sin hacerle caso, ¿no? Se ha ido para allá.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny
awaits. Vamos.
Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I...
Un segundo.
Just supposed to forget?
¿Qué?
What if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here
¿Pero
on
qué?
this thing, wall.
Pero...
Well, who consulted me. Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind
Tienes que reiniciarlo, bro.
Would you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey.
Narrator restart the game. Está aquí. Estamos ya aquí. En el sí restart.
Eventually. Well, in the meantime,
Se reinició solo. ¡Ojo!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Pero, bro.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, deeply. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Por aquí ya hemos hecho lo que tendríamos que haber hecho, ¿no? Pero no hemos investigado más en la habitación del jefe.
Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Estoy clicando a todo lo que veo, no puedo.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Secret bathroom. Espérate. Vale, porque el jefe lo sabe, es lo que el jefe dice y el jefe sufrirá pérdidas si es la elección del jefe. Seguimos por aquí. Estrategia de negocio, disparar un panda. Vamos. Ti. Un segundo. Que el piñata me ha vuelto porque ha sido una de... ¿Pero qué cojones? Que no hemos ido a ningún lado. Vale, el tercer input ya lo hemos puesto.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator
Pido
talk.
disculpas.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Hemos hecho 3 inputs de 4. O sea, de 5. Eso ha petado.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, vamos a ir por aquí.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Podemos volver. ¿Pero vamos a volver? No. Os lo digo ya. Que no vamos a volver.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Por supuesto, vamos a confrontar la muerte. Podemos volver, ¿eh? ¡Uy!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story.
Wow, voy a morir así.
In his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No quiero morir.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
¿Por qué no he
In
muerto?
a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
¡Ja! Me he librado. De Stanley Parable. Porque no puedo ir más para allá, ¿no? Tiene que ser por ahí sí o sí.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for
La
you
muerte
long
solo
in
es significante
advance,
haciendo
death
la
becomes
vida igual.
meaningless, making life the same.
Nature
Do you see
paintings.
now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
A selection of the sounds used through the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and synthesized tone. ¡Qué guapo! Fue el primer diseño de la parábola de Stanley. Una vez que esta habitación fue creada, el resto del juego se emergió como una extensión de él, como la exploración de la habitación. Vamos. Claro, que tú llegas... El corredor. Was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. Vale, eso es para que el jugador llegue a las dos puertas en buen tiempo. La oficina, nuestro despacho, la oficina entera. Tío, estoy flipando. Las cosas que tienen. Los ordenadores de la oficina. Los créditos. Muchísimas gracias, me está gustando mucho el juego. Grandes. Joder. Estamos viendo ahora ya todo el juego. Un poco cómo ha sido creado. Todas las cosas que tiene este juego. Qué cosa más guapa, ¿no? Boss Office. Wow, sí, es poco construido. Underground. An early version of the underground version of the game. These are clips from early takes that we don't edit. Coño. Employee Launch. Oye, pues está bastante guapo, toda esta parte. De descubrir un poco Office Clock. Eso sigue ahí. Ese reloj sigue estando igual que el de la oficina. O sea, es exactamente igual. Countdown Desk. Hostia, esto no lo hemos encontrado, Ni eso. The ending went through many iterations. This room represents the first version of the ending and went through it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it shortly before launch. Vale, lo cambiaron antes del lanzamiento. We run major teasers trailers over the course of the game development. It's meant to convey something about the spirits of the game. This is the first one, released in May 2012. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator informing viewers that is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. ¿Qué? Porque este juego está tan guapo, tío. Creo que lo estamos terminando porque es eso, el juego dura 1 hora y media y es justo lo que llevamos. Tío, me parece súper guapo. Por ahí es la salida, que no queremos ir a la salida todavía. El diseño del juego. Espérate, que hay un montón de salas y cosas todavía que no hemos visto. Espérate. Narrator emails. Goodman, de un hombre guay. De nada. The Apartment Timer. Cargo Lift. Ah, no hace nada más. Vaya. Ay, que por aquí era para esto. Espérate, que por entonces vamos a descubrir cosas. Un meeting room. Sí, vamos, lo que hemos hecho. No hay... ¿Cómo está construido el juego? ¡Qué guapo! $427. La oficina de Stanley. Sí. Noviembre de 2011. Marzo de 2012. Y febrero de 2012. O sea, y febrero de 2013. Ah, no está mal. Buen cambio.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Vale.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Necesito al narrador.
Listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't.
¿Lo hemos hecho bien? ¿O no?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh, ahora vamos
Stanley
hacia el otro
decided
lado.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Sí, ¿no? Ahora vamos hacia el otro lado.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No me renta nada esto.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
¿Para que la abra o qué?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vale. Dinero por la mañana, dinero por la tarde, dinero de desayunar, dinero en la... Bueno, crisp, es que no sé exactamente qué es. No he subido a ningún lado.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Vale. Es que no lo estoy poniendo bien. Hostia, me estoy quedando medio rayado.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Después de este reinicio, si no lo vamos a dejar. Porque me está rayando la cabeza, que flipas ahora
Now
mismo.
the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the
Enceguecido al
world?
mundo.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ti, 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 ti. Hostia, ¿habrá algún número aquí? En estos cajoncillos, no cajoncillos, pero mira, ahí está el 10. Pero el 10 creo que lo he visto en algún otro sitio. Cinco, dos, uno. 5. Voy a tocar todos los botones. Sí. 0, 1, 4, 2. Console disabled. El 10 es un botón azul pequeño. Sí, sí, sí. Awaiting input. Ah, mira, aquí antes lo que he hecho ha sido off. Ahora lo puedo hacer on.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
pero ¿por qué, tío?
are said to explode.
Pero ¿por qué este mal rollo?
Complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means.
Vamos a por el botón, tocamos el botón y se acaba.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video
Pero
game
¿dónde está ese botón? Yo no sé dónde está ese
sold?
botón.
Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds
Me
until
cago
a
en la
big
puta.
boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces.
Me va a
Cling
matar.
desperately to your frail life. or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Estoy flipando. Estoy flipando con este juego. ¿Me tiene?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tenemos que encontrar el ordena para meter el input.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Me ha dejado a mí esto loquísimo, bro. Loquísimo, loquísimo.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Vaya. Perdón, Stanley. Eso sin querer.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wow.
When Stanley came to a
Vamos a ir una más por aquí por la izquierda. Si veo que nos quedamos otra vez atrapados, nos vamos a jugar otra cosa. Porque esto me está gustando y quiero darle tiempo y rayarme un poco y ver qué lo puedo hacer, cómo me lo puedo pasar.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, no vamos por aquí. No vamos por aquí, que esto ha sido el bucle antes y ha sido una cagada. No me gusta nada. Vamos para arriba, sí, vamos para arriba. Ser rico es un crimen, cometer crímenes es ser rico. ¿Qué sería de la vida si pudieras escoger una? Si solo pudieras escoger una. Vale, aquí no hay inputs. Coño, aquí no podemos meter nada.
Here's the door, just go.
Me deja ya la puerta abierta como en plan... Venga, dale para allá.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, vamos a ir otra vez por aquí.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Volvemos a empezar. A ver, un momento. Si yo puedo mirar aquí y ver los logros que tengo, solamente tengo el de no puedes saltar, completa el juego, que ya lo he completado, clica en la puerta 430 5 veces, 8888, no juegos durante 5 años, complétalo en 422 y complétalo o sea, juégalo lo que sería el día completo del martes.
All of his co-workers were gone. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort.
¿En serio está viendo que estoy a por el logro? Me
Now,
mofo.
suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
50, pero si van a ser 30.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
20 clics a la puerta 417, espérate.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Espérate, que este logro va a ser gracioso. 437, espérate.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
Me está vacilando, ¿verdad? Porque a la 415, ¿dónde está?
Now, back to door number 437.
¡Qué mofa!
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Me está vacilando, me está vacilando, lo sé.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
419. Este es el 400.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
Se está volviendo loco.
We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
¿Qué le pasa?
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley.
Tiene
Nothing
toda la...
could hold you back.
Pues ha sido para sacarme el
I'm
logro.
how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
Vale. Vamos a ver. Vamos a volver del piña time. Hola. Y vamos a ver otro logro que podemos sacar. entire duration of a Tuesday is impossible. Es que este no sé cómo se hace y este el de 888 supongo que habrá que encontrar la mesa de billar. ¿Sabéis dónde hay una mesa de billar en este juego? Porque yo la verdad que no. O encontrar la bola negra 8, que eso ya va a ser más difícil.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this
No,
was
voy a
not the
por la
correct
derecha.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Sí, es solo para admirarla.
And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No. Vamos a
Stanley
ir
was so
por
bad
aquí.
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration
Hemos
for
saltado otra
others?
vez.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully.
Antes
This
hemos
is
ido por la
important.
roja, ahora vamos por azul.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Vaya.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I
Que
still
no.
don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running,
Pero-
just the way you're doing right now. Don't you
Pero
see
¿por qué
that
me
it's
vacila de
killing
esta
us,
manera el
Stanley?
cabrón?
I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Paso de ti y de tus puertas.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just... No, wait. Where are you going?
Aquí.
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No!
¡Hala! Le hemos vacilado un poco.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Solo queda un input. Solo queda una input.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Vale, eran por aquí. Vale.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Vale, ahí es la azul. O sea, es la roja. Vale, creo que voy a ir hacia el final para ver qué es esto.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Esto lo he hecho al principio.
That's her, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Vale. Voy a irme a por algo de beber y voy a dejar esto así, como tal. Pero lo que podemos... Bueno, ¿qué coño? Espérate. O sea, no me voy a ir a por nada de beber hasta que no me...
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers.
Whoa.
How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Tienes never...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Antes hemos ido por aquí. Es que esta es la del... La del bucle. Y la del bucle ya la hemos hecho. ¿Hay algo más por aquí? No, ya está como al principio. A no ser que ahora esto se mueva. No, no. O sea, no se mueve a ningún lado.
Here's the door, just go.
Eight.
¡Ja! Pues era este el logro. Digo, ¿dónde puedo poner el 8? Pues solamente ahí. A ver.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible
Ya no puedo
secret
volver,
did this
¿no?
place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he?
Ojo. Hemos llegado al puto cielo. Como tenga que apagarlos todos, van a flipar. Creo que sí. Lo que me puedo tirar aquí. Bueno, 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 bueno. ¿Qué está pasando, tío? Dios, está potente el audio, ¿eh? Vale, vamos a guardar aquí. Vamos a poner aquí nuestro